Good evening, everyone, and happy Friday, Junior. We are almost there. I hope everyone has had a great semester, and I'm just really excited, especially for our students that are currently taking courses that are still deciding to do the work and make sure that they are preparing themselves. So even though you're like, I'm ready to for finals to be over, you're taking advantage of this opportunity by joining us tonight to learn more about your dual degree opportunities here with us at the School of Pharmacy, but partnering with our folks with the Fox School of Business, the College of Public Health, and our very own Masters of Pharmacovigilance. And so, if we haven't met, my name is Layara Powell. I have the opportunity to serve as the Associate Director of Recruitment. So, I'm the crazy lady that has been sending you all the emails and inviting you to all of our events. And hopefully, that will help you navigate your pathway into the School of Pharmacy here at Temple University. So without further ado, I am going to kick it over to our first presenter that will be representing the College of Public Health. Take it away.
Hello, how are you? My name is Jennifer Hitchner. I am an assistant director over at the Barnett College of Public Health. And I also have with me one of our program directors for the Health Policy and Management MPH program, Sharif Ibrahim. So he is here. He is the one to ask any in-depth questions about the program too at the end. I'm just going to give you a basic overview of what your options are as a dual degree. And then, like I said, if you have any questions about the fieldwork portion, the courses, anything like that, we can dive into those. I'll definitely defer to Sharif on that. So let me share my screen. I have two monitors, so sometimes this is a little weird for a second. So let me go ahead and do this and make sure we're all looking at my, oh, no, don't do that. Okay, so let me go ahead and share. Oh, sharing's not turned on. Would you go ahead and let me share? So it should let me do it now. Yes. Okay. Perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit share. Can you all see the PowerPoint?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Amazing. Alrighty. So we have this dual degree program here with our MPH. MPH means Master of Public Health. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of do a little rundown for our Barnett College of Public Health. Been a leader in the public health education since 1978, one of the largest, most diverse interdisciplinary colleges of public health in the country. We'll get into a little bit about why it's so special. 11 master's programs, 8 doctoral programs. We also have some graduate certificates, over 500 community partners, very, very important. Faculty, well-known public health leaders with diverse portfolio of interests and research across 20 disciplines. Strong advising and one-on-one contact with your faculty. Like I said, any questions about interacting with faculty and whether or not students get to do that, Sharif will absolutely be able to answer that for you. And we produce better prepared graduates for the evolving health challenges and real-world experiences. So I'm going to go ahead and break down what a Master of Public Health is. So it's different than a Master of Science, or because it has much more real world experience kind of built in. So it's considered a terminal degree for those who want to practice public health in industry, such as the pharmaceutical industry, government, or nonprofit organizations. Graduates of the dual degree program would be prepared for roles in areas such as pharmaceutical policy and advocacy, research, community health, health systems, and global health. This is just some of the areas covered. Temple's MPH programs are accredited by the Council on Education for Public Health, CEPH. You'll see that all over our website, which assures quality in public health education and training to achieve excellence in practice, research, and service through collaboration with organizational and community partners. We are fully accredited by the CEPH. Like I said, you'll see that all over our website when you're looking at our MPH programs. Not every school offers that accreditation. It is we are one of only two CPH accredited schools of public health in the Philadelphia region and one of only three in the state of Pennsylvania. So that's what I was saying, something about making us a little special, a little more specific. Okay, so that's what an MPH is. Now I'll tell you about the areas that you can study. So let's look down here first. So the MPH concentration options, and then I'll kind of jump back up to explaining. So since this is set up specifically just to talk about our dual degree options, we have three dual degree options. So if you were to look at our Barnett College of Public Health website and just look at the list of Master of Public Health programs, you'd see there's more. But we have three of them set up as a dual degree. So your options would be epidemiology, health policy and management, and social and behavioral sciences. Sharif's here today. He's the program director for the health policy and management, but has worked, in collaboration with other departments and things, and would also be able to kind of field a question if you had something specific about one of those. Um, all right, so here's how it works. This is a dual degree in the sense of a literal second degree, basically, right? So you would get 42 MPH credits, meaning you do the 18 credits of foundational coursework, 9 credits of concentration specific study, meaning like one of these areas, and then 6 credits of field work. An additional 9 credits of PharmD coursework will count towards an additional MPH elective requirements. So you're still doing a decent number of credits to do this dual degree. It's not just, I take 3 or 4 classes and we're done. No. So there's a decent commitment, time commitment, everything commitment to earning this dual degree. Um, what makes the MPH so special is the fact that it does include these 6 credits of field work. This field work is something that is designed for you to get real world experience. You work with the fieldwork coordinator, you talk about your career goals, things like that, and you're placed in, as we saw before, we said like 500 something partners in and around the city. You're placed in one of the many facilities and like places we have for you to complete those fieldwork hours. And they really, really want to align you with what you want to do. So, for example, if you're not just going to get randomly assigned, and you also don't have to go out and find the place for you to do these hours on your own. This is meant to be something that you get the most out of, and it ends in a big project. And again, like I said, Sharif can absolutely speak to this a little bit better than I can. But this is something that's like a huge portion of the MPH degree, and it really gives you such an incredible experience and is very unique, especially at Temple. Like this is a really great opportunity. Um, okay, so then I'm just going to go ahead and give you some information about how to apply. Um, in order to do the dual degree, so you obviously have your PharmD application process. Then what you would do for us is you still apply through Sophis, which is a centralized application service. It's just a website. You create an account, log in, it's free. And then you search for Temple and you can choose the program. You submit all official transcripts, resume, personal statement, and 3 letters of recommendation. The big thing is the MPH program requires a bachelor's degree. So if you were able to take another path into the PharmD program, you could not do this dual degree unless you have also already completed a bachelor's degree. Oops. I don't know how I did that. Must be in good academic standing, minimum GPA of 3.0, and not on academic probation. You would apply to this dual degree program in spring of your first year for the following fall. So you would have one full semester at the pharmacy program, talk to your advisor. You really want to do this, you apply. Um, the deadline is March 1st. You apply, and hopefully you're accepted and you can start in the fall. Full-time students are scheduled to complete the program in 5 years because, again, it's a big, big program. This is 2 degrees, 5 years, but you can take up to 6 years. So that's basically the rundown of how the dual degree works. Um, I wanted to make sure I put up our information here. I do have to leave the meeting a little bit early today, so I won't be here all the way at the end. So if anybody has a question right away, I would be happy to take it. Otherwise, if you want to save it to the end, or if you want to just send me an email, that's totally fine too. And I have Sharif's information here. I also want to just kind of turn it over to him for a second, see if there's anything you want to add or if there's anything I missed out maybe. So, Sharif, if you'd like to go ahead and kind of say a few words, maybe go a little bit more in depth on some of the things that I just kind of glazed over, glazed over. Go ahead, I'll turn it over to you for a moment.
Um, I think that thank you first of all, Jennifer, for covering that. That was a great presentation. Um, I'm going to save most of my talking to the very end because I think it's better off to answer your questions than to tell you what I think you want to hear because I don't know what you want to hear. But I will say that we worked really diligently a couple of years ago to put together the dual degree, the PharmD MPH degree, with one purpose in mind, that it would have to work for you. It would have to be something that was meaningful and worthwhile. Otherwise, why do it, right? So we tried to structure it so that it was, yes, of course, there's extra credits, but it's something that's doable. And then at the end, when you have your two degrees, you have your two degrees that are meaningful to you. So I'll leave it at that, and we'll talk about any questions you have at the end.
All right, thank you so very much. So, as you all continue to hear the presentations, don't be shy. This is your time to ask those questions. This is your time to gain additional knowledge. So, this is your time. So, take full advantage of it. And maybe you weren't thinking about this pathway, but you saw that there are three different options. And so I am going to turn it over to our first question. Go ahead.
Hi. So my first question would be in terms of the dual pathway. When understanding like what you want to do on top of the pharmaceutical program and like where you're leading into, what would you say is the biggest determinant of like what would allow a student to choose like if they think something is beneficial. Like if I say I wanted to do something like business or I wanted to do something like psychology along with like something with my pharmaceutical sciences, what would you like what would any of you guys deem to be important in terms of like the students benefit and like what would be too much versus like a too big of a workload on top of what we already have to do?
So, since we are joined by our Senior Vice Dean, Dr. Mancano, I am going to turn it over to him to answer that question.
All right. So taking a look at all of the paths, right? So when we look at the MPH/PharmD, that's a decision you need to make rather early in the curriculum. So you need to make that kind of at the end of your first year, going into your second year, where some of the other dual, not some, but the other dual degrees, you really don't make that decision until you're getting to your third year. So, you should probably, and word to the wise, right? If you're interested in the MPH, do your research before you get here. Do your research, ask questions, be ready so that we can get you in the right, get you in the right direction on time because you're still going to spill over after your degree to finish the MPH. You just don't want to delay it any further. So that's really the big thing is kind of making sure you're comfortable with what's in each program. You're going to hear about the MBA as well. You'll hear about the quality assurance and regulatory affairs, but a little bit of that is going to be guided on. It's going to be based on where do you want to go and what do you want to do. Like you could be in the pharmaceutical industry with an MPH, but you're going to be doing something very different than an MBA with the PharmD is going to be doing in the pharmaceutical industry, or somebody with a degree in pharmacovigilance. You're all going to be in different departments doing different things. So we start during our first year. Myself and Dr. Carey have a course. It's professional practice, but we go through a lot of the different areas where you can practice. We actually do an online inventory where you kind of say, here's what I want to do. And then the program will then give you, okay, here's 5 areas of pharmacy that match well. And please go investigate them. And we do that right in the first semester. So if something comes up and it says like, hey, looks like MPH might be something you want to do, or adding an MBA to it. You have time to ask questions. We have advisors that you can speak to. And then we can also refer you to the other programs to get the full picture. But it's a big decision.
AJ, thank you for your question. Dr. McCandle, thank you. That was very helpful. Um, and thank you, Jennifer. I would echo Dr. Mancano is saying to answer to this question. Yes. So again, this is why sessions like these are important. In addition to this is why when you're matriculating through the program, you take advantage of the info sessions that are provided. So you are coming in making a sound decision, but also the timing is in alignment with the steps that you need to take to apply for the programs. So we will continue to have Q&A, but I do want to move to our next presenter, Dr. Canny, who will be sharing more about our RAQA master's dual degree opportunity. Dr. Canny, would you like me to share or you're good to?
I think I'm good. Let me check. All right. Right. Looks like we're good. All right. Then hope everyone can see those slides. Yeah. Okay. So I'm Dan Canny. I'm the Assistant Dean of Graduate Programs at the School of Pharmacy, and I'm here to talk about our dual degree program, the PharmD MS in Global Clinical Pharmacovigilance Regulations. So that's a mouthful. That's what we'll talk a little bit more in just a minute. So here at the pharmacy school, we have a variety of different programs. We're not going to talk about all of them. We can go from BS to PhD, but we're going to focus on the PharmD tonight, and we're going to focus on the pharmacovigilance program, which is part of the regulatory affairs and quality assurance program that we have that we're currently moving from Fort Washington down to the pharmacy school. So again, here we are talking about these various dual degree programs, and the one that I'm going to be focusing on tonight is our Doctor of Pharmacy, MS in Global Pharmacovigilance. And the reason that that's important, the reason that that there's a lot of interest in this is because pharmacovigilance is a rapidly growing and expanding area in the pharmaceutical industry for all the reasons that I've mentioned here. So what my goal is tonight is to tell you a little bit more about pharmacovigilance and why it is an important area in the pharmaceutical industry. So we are interested in the PharmD program and the employment opportunities, and there are a lot of different areas that people with a PharmD degree can get into. I've listed some of them here. Some that are most people are familiar with is the community pharmacy, hospital pharmacy. But what we're here to talk about tonight is the pharmaceutical industry and government agencies such as the FDA and some of the others that I have listed here. So that's where I want to focus is the pharmaceutical industry, government agencies, and how you can make yourself more marketable as far as that particular direction is concerned. So in recent years, we've seen a tremendous increase in the interest of our students in the pharmaceutical industry. Years back, we'd have a couple of students, a very small percentage of students that would be interested and want to pursue that avenue. That's changed dramatically. So there's a lot more interest. So of course, there's a lot more competition, right, for the jobs that the pharmaceutical industry has out there. So people that want to go into that direction, this degree, this dual degree, having the PharmD and the MS degree in pharmacovigilance can give them a significant advantage over other students other graduates that don't have that training. So what is pharmacovigilance, right? It's not a term that that we're all familiar with, and I've tried to just hit on just some of the major points that it is, and I'm not going to read the whole slide, But it involves basically following up on medications after they're released. So it goes from clinical trials all the way through for drugs that have been on the market for years, to make sure that they're safe and effective and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Clinical trials, as I mentioned here, are insufficient, right? There's small groups of patients that are in the clinical trials, so it's not really until the drug is on the market for a number of years and thousands, millions of patients have taken the drug where we really start to appreciate what the safety and effectiveness of these drugs are. So it's really critical to protect the public health and to identify different risks that crop up after these drugs have been on the market for a series of time. And the goal is to, again, public safety, and to allow for quick action if it's necessary, right? To pull these drugs off, or to warn the public if different issues are identified. So what does it involve? Some of this I mentioned: monitoring and evaluation, right? They're continuously collecting data. Risk management, trying to make sure that we minimize the risk to patients, to the public. And as I mentioned earlier, covers all aspects of drug safety, from the initial clinical trials through to post-market surveillance by all the different people that I mentioned here, right? And then lastly, global health. It's essential for managing drug safety across the globe, because different populations often respond differently to medications. So that's another thing that they need to consider, they need to be aware of in order to keep people safe. So why is it so important? Well, hopefully what I've said up till now it gives you some idea, right? Public safety is the key. Protecting the public, helping healthcare professionals to make informed decisions, or better informed decision, and then a means of continuous improvement, right? To refine the use of the drugs, the dose of the drugs, how often the drugs are given, and so forth. And then finally, again, improving global health, right? Again, getting information from across the globe to make sure that different populations in different areas are not experiencing unexpected consequences from these drugs. So what about the regulatory affairs program? So that's the pharmacovigilance piece. Our QARA program, Regulatory Affairs and Quality Assurance Program, was the first. It's the oldest in the country. We have a large variety of courses that are offered out there. We have many students that are taking courses each semester, and they're all over the country, all over the world for that matter. We're constantly trying to have collaborations with different universities, different countries to spread this information. And lastly, the people that teach in the program, all of our faculty are experts that are currently working in the pharmaceutical industry or at the FDA. So they bring a lot of expertise to the program. More information about the program, what sets it apart from some of the others. We really focus essentially on regulatory affairs. It's not a business. It's not focused on business. It's not focused on a lot of the other things that some programs get into, and it also covers all aspects of the industry. There's a large variety of topics and courses that are available that gives the big picture of what's going on in the industry. And networking is an important part of the program. As I said, the faculty are working professionals, are working in the pharmaceutical industry. You're interacting with these individuals, so that provides an opportunity for networking. And then you have students in your classes that are also in the pharmaceutical industry. So again, opening up networking opportunities. It's online, but it's interactive. It's not asynchronous. The faculty member is there while you're taking the course. You have discussions, and that's a very important part of the program, in fact, is interaction between the faculty member and the students. You can take the courses anytime. You can start, take them in the fall, spring, or summer, and they're offered either at night during the week or on the weekends. So, how is this degree going to help you? Well, one of the things about the pharmaceutical industry that many people don't appreciate is the fact that they use a language that is its own language. It's a terminology that you can overhear people talking in the pharmaceutical industry and really not understand a whole lot about what they're saying because they're using a different language. So having taken the courses and interacting with these individuals will certainly give you that background, allow you to really stand out in a job interview. And then, of course, what you learn in the program, once you get into the industry, you can certainly use it for problem solving and so forth. You become familiar with the key issues in the industry, which once again will help with interviews and so forth, because you'll have that knowledge. And I've mentioned these other things about networking, right? You're being taught by the industry professionals and interacting with them. And then the others, students in the class are often people that have careers in the industry, and they're trying to further their careers through the degree. Our program is very well recognized, and it's very well respected. It's been around, as I said, for many, many years, decades, literally. So it is well recognized, and this degree opportunity saves both time and money if this is the path that you want to take. So the take-home message from my perspective is to make yourself more competitive. If that's the area that you think you want to go into, this would certainly accomplish that. I don't want to get into the blades of grass here, but I just wanted to share some of the courses that you can take in the program. They're listed here, and at this point, a lot of it may not be familiar to you, but this is just an example of 5 of the courses that will count that you take during your PharmD program, right? So that's 15 credits. That's half of the credits required for the master's degree. So they would be taken while you're earning the PharmD, and then you'd have the other 15 that would occur afterwards. So this is, again, I don't want to get into the blades of grass. I can talk about it if people have some questions, but these are just the required courses for the master's degree in pharmacovigilance. So with that, I will end it and open up to questions. But apparently, we're going to wait for questions until after everyone has presented. So thank you for your attention. Hopefully, I made my case, and I'll turn it over to Leara.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kenny. Definitely helpful. As you can see, you were able to see some of the courses, how the courses you're going to be taking with PharmD, they satisfy half of the credit hours required for the program. There were some questions asked in the chat, but also answered by Dr. Mancano, so thank you. And we will move forward to our last presenter that will be sharing about our dual degree with our online master's in business administration. Kimberly, take it away, and then continue to think about your questions, put them in the chat so they can stay fresh. But also Dr. Mancano has been doing a great job keeping up with the chat, so thank you so very much. Kimberly, we'll turn it over to you. Thank you, Dr. Kenny.
My pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. My name is Kim Cherinsky. I am the director of MBA programs at the Fox School of Business, and thank you so much for having me tonight. I have a very brief presentation that I'm going to be sharing with you, just to give you some basic information about the program, and hopefully you are all able to see my PowerPoint. Are we able to see it? Not sure why it's not in the slideshow presentation. Let's try this again. All right, let's try this again. Let me stop sharing. And first time on Zoom, everybody. We've only been doing this for how many years? I can't tell
You
you how
know,
many Zooms.
technology is a gift and a curse. It does its own
Oh,
thing.
it is. It's definitely a curse. So hopefully you're all seeing the PowerPoint in the
Yes.
correct view right now. Okay,
Yes,
awesome. Thank
ma'am.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I really do know what I'm talking about. I'm better at advising than technology, apparently. So just to give you some information about the MBA program, you're going to hear me using words like currently because we are actually changing our programs next fall. So I'm going to give you some information about how the program is currently and what we are looking forward to coming next fall semester. So currently our program, it's one MBA, and the different formats are either online, which is completely virtual, or hybrid, which is where our students can take a combination of courses, either completely virtual, completely virtual, all on campus. And if it's on campus, it's at our 1515 Market Street location, or some of our courses may be asynchronous, or maybe 1 week in person, next week in virtual. So currently our program is 48 credits. 30 credits are MBA core courses that students are required to take that are part of the program. For example, finance, statistics, marketing, et cetera, et cetera. I actually had a student ask me if there was ever a chance of statistics being removed from a program. They were serious. I giggled, no, but so those core courses right now, there's no movement in removing some of the quantitative courses, but they are there to stay right now. And currently we have 18 credits of electives that students are required to take, which can go towards a concentration, which is a specialty area in finance, marketing, et cetera. The curriculum is currently competency driven. So MBA courses deliver the skills and knowledge that 300 plus leading employers have identified as critical to business success. We collaborate, our students and our staff and faculty collaborate with different centers, specifically the Center for Student and Professional Development, as we like to call CSPD. They work very closely with our students individually and in group settings, resume review, cover letter, interview preparation, prepping for salary negotiations, things to that effect. I know a lot of our students in our professional programs also have those resources on the professional school side. Well, you get double the support in working with our CSPD office as well. The program is very flexible. Students in our program do have the availability to take the program in as little as 2 years, but the large majority of our students, including those in our professional programs, for example, the PharmD program, usually complete the program in 2.5 to 3 years, and you have up to 6 years to do so. I can tell you, working very closely with our professional school students over the past couple of years, we probably see more to the 3.5, 4 year range. Just because on some semesters, you're going to notice that in this case, a lot of the semesters may be PharmD heavy, and you may not be able to take as many or any of our courses, and that's okay. We will work very closely with you. But we do recognize that your professional program comes first, and they have more obligations that may interfere with our program. So we will work very closely on the advising side with all of you. As I mentioned, it's both hybrid and virtual. Hybrid, again, offered either virtually or at our 1515 Market Street location. And currently, our online courses are offered on Thursday evenings from 8 to 10 p.m. and either in that 5-week or 10-week format. So what's happening next fall is our program is actually going from 48 credits to 42 credits. And any student that's currently in our program or may be admitted in spring or summer of 2026 does have the opportunity to take advantage of that 42 credit program. And we do have a lot of the students that have been reaching out to us to look to see what that plan of completion will look like. Because of course you do save about close to $7,000, and that's 2 less courses that you have to take. As I mentioned, the core courses are not going anywhere, so you still have to take those statistics and finance courses, but there's 2 less electives that the students in the MBA program would have to take. So it's going from 6 to 4. The courses are also changing slightly in the students in our professional programs will take our courses virtually, But what's happening is the classes are going from one night a week to two meetings a night. So they're going to more of a lab format where Tuesday evenings, everyone will log in to class virtually. And then Thursday nights will be more of that lab portion that if a student's in the hybrid section, they will go to Tuck, Center City campus. And those of you in the online format will log in virtually. So you still will have the opportunity to log in virtually. However, they'll be over two nights as opposed to one night. And it's also going to be spread out over 7 weeks. So there'll be two meetings over 7 weeks. First 7 weeks will be 7A. Last 7 weeks of the semester will be 7B. And again, the advising staff will work very closely with students. Another piece that's changing is currently our students to declare concentrations, and moving forward, you will not have to. So that's also allows students to customize their degree in taking the electives. So what do students have to do that are interested in this program? Of course, you have to apply. Resume, transcripts, letter of recommendation, just to name a few things. The letter of recommendation is usually provided from a support person on the PharmD side. And of course, you have to meet the admission requirements for both the PharmD and be an active PharmD student, as well as meeting the requirements from the MBA program. We have 3 intakes a year. The admissions team is currently finalizing applications and admissions for the spring semester. So anyone that's currently has an application in the system should probably see a decision made hopefully before the end of this year, before we go on break. And then anyone that maybe has not submitted everything fully, or if you go and apply after tonight or over the holiday break, additional decisions will be made shortly before the semester starts. Students can join the program or admit to the program all year. We do offer classes all year round, fall, spring, and summer semesters. We also have MBA requirements of an orientation that students are required to attend. Currently, we only have 2 orientations. One is in the spring semester and one is in the fall semester. Orientation has looked differently over the years, from a full 5-week, 5 days, 5 to 7 days in a week format to only one night or maybe 3/4 of a day. So they have changed. I can tell you for the fall semester, it'll be about 3/4 of the day on a Friday afternoon for students to attend orientation. We will accept up to 9 credits of your PharmD courses, and those courses are listed there towards our electives. So what that basically means is that you would only have to take an additional 1 of our electives to count to meet those elective requirements. So 9 credits total we will accept from the PharmD, and then you will only have to take 1 of our electives on top of all of the core courses. And of course, we need students to maintain good academic standings, which I know is important across all of the schools here at Temple. And then what's needed for your application. This goes into a little bit more detail. You'll have to do essays, an admissions interview, there's an application fee, et cetera. I can tell you that we will work very closely with the PharmD school to grab some of this information. We can pull your transcripts from Temple, of course, but if there's transcripts from other universities, then our admissions team will work very closely with our contacts on the PharmD side to gather that information to help your application become complete. And that's all that I have. So thank you.
Thank you so very much, Kim. So I want to encourage you all. I know there's been a lot of activity in the chat, but I want to encourage you all to take yourself off mute because your question may be someone else's question. So, we want to share knowledge and leave with more knowledge than what we came with. And again, thank you to all of our presenters for just taking the time out this evening with reading applications and processing and all of that and everything else that we have going on to make sure that we're giving prospective students and current students an opportunity to learn more about their opportunities as future pharmacists, but how can they extend themselves in these various capacities and really leave with a well-rounded experience from Temple University as a whole. And again, thank you to Dr. Mancano for, being super engaging in the chat with the questions that have been coming in regarding maintaining student status as a PharmD student, but also looking at how does it align with courses in the other programs. And as you decide that Temple School of Pharmacy is the right place, you'll still have that support from Dr. Mancano as you matriculate, but also the representatives from our partnering schools. So again, if you have questions, please take yourself off mute and go ahead and put yourself out there. We're a friendly group. So that others can maybe hear the question that they may be wanting to ask and know the answer to as well. Or maybe all the questions were answered. And okay, here we go. Anne, go ahead.
I had a question about the MPH program. I know when they were talking about the fieldwork, they mentioned a big project. Could we expand a little bit more about that?
Cherie?
Sure. I'm happy to expand about that. I'm reading the mid-year papers right now from my students. Although I told them nothing more than 25 pages, not a one of them is less than 40 pages. So, uh, um, what it's an applied experience. So, what our goal is that we can talk to you all day in the classroom about what the theories are and the concepts are, and 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 you'll get information from that, but that is not as effective as you going out into the field and finding out from yourself, really. I tell my students in my class this semester and next semester that my class for the field work, it's called field work, but we're changing that as well. It is not a content class. I'm not teaching you anything new. I'm challenging you to take what you've learned and apply it. So you go out to a site, and some of our students are in pharmaceuticals. Some of our students are in Pfizer, Moderna, some of the big pharmaceutical companies out there, and doing their work, their placements in those locations. And in my program, specifically policy, many of them work on the global vaccine teams, and they have to navigate how to get certain vaccines approved in certain countries or what have you, as an example. And they work on the processes, the means to do that, what they need to look at, how to examine the laws of certain countries and decide what's the best approach about making these vaccines available in those countries. Um, that's an example. And I use that example because that probably appeals to some of you here working in the pharmaceutical industry. But as Jennifer showed, we have over 500 partners. And I'll tell you this, if you look at all 500 of those partners and say, none of them mean anything to me, I don't want to work at any of them, I want to work over at the 501st partner over there, we'll make a partnership with that 501st partner. We want you to go out into the field and apply what you've learned. And at the end of that, hopefully you'll come away from it knowing that you are capable of doing what we taught you in the classroom. And I tell students, I'll use this example, you'll be building the house from the inside for the whole year, meaning that while you're building it, you'll be looking and saying, this is never going to get done. But from the outside, I'm reading your papers and all the work that you're doing, and the people on the outside watching what's happening, they look and say, wow, this person knows how to build a house. And that's exactly what we're looking for, that you are doing what you do from our classes in a way that builds the structure that you didn't believe that was going to be able to come together at the end, but somehow, some way, it always does. And so, what is your fieldwork project? What are you interested in? We can make it happen.
Thank you, Sharif. And thank you, Anne, for your question. Tony?
Okay, I have a question about the dual degree PharmD RAQA. I have finished my RAQA exactly the same day as of today last year in 2024, and I earned my Master of Science in RAQA. Originally, I had a pharmacy degree from outside the USA, but this is long time ago in 1998, a bachelor pharmacy degree. So I am unable to find a job till now since I have graduated, and I keep looking, uh, actually nothing, except couple interviews here and couple interviews there. Even in the company I work for right now, I wasn't able to get any advance or any promotion. It looks like they care less about the education and they focus on experience as of my discovery. So right now I am planning to, as you know, and you sent me this invitation. So I'm planning to go through the PharmD program. Do you think will expand my opportunities? And I need advice.
I would say, um, I would say that getting the Form D would certainly expand your opportunities in a number of different areas, not just in the regulatory affairs. So that if that continues to be an issue and you're not able to find employment in that area, there are many other areas that, some of which I showed that slide just briefly, but there are many different paths that you can take as a pharmacist that aren't open to you with just the master's degree that you mentioned. Combining those two, I would think would certainly strengthen your ability to get an offer. But yeah, the PharmD would help dramatically and open different paths, not just the regulatory.
Thank you, sir. But do you think they will like transfer some credits of my RAQA program to the PharmD?
No, it
So
doesn't. It doesn't.
it won't be applicable. In addition, there are timeframes in which we're able to accept previously completed coursework. And so if it's one not a part of the prerequisite course list, and I'll drop a link for that in the chat so you can have it and anyone else that would like to review it. But in addition, we have a 10-year threshold or lifespan because, as you know, the world of science, it continuously changes and it basically updates itself. And so we want practicing pharmacists to be up to date. And so that we're making sure that we're giving you the most up-to-date information, and you're coming in with the most up-to-date information and leaving with the ability to practice for what the future of pharmacy is going to continue to shape into. And so that, that kind of answers why, but also the reasoning behind the why. But I think also to piggyback off of what Dr. Candy has shared, we I think we do a really good job with making sure that our students, while matriculating through the program, they get a vast experience as the opportunities of pharmacy working in different capacities. And so, in addition, from all of our presenters, you saw the network in which the university has. And I think that will also make you successful or lend to the success in terms of creating that launching pad after matriculation and after graduation. So whether you decide to take on a dual degree, and if you do, your network from just the School of Pharmacy, but now if you're adding on a dual degree, you are now expanding your network even further. And I think our presenters did a great job with making sure that they showed the opportunities within the various individual degree pathways. So, again, the network within the Temple University as a whole really lends to the success of our students, not only while they're progressing through the program, but the opportunities that will happen upon graduation.
Thank you. And Can I ask one more question if you don't mind?
Absolutely. And then I saw a hand from Michael. So yes, go ahead.
It's going to be so quick. I apologize. So I
No,
know
no need to apologize. That's why we're here.
that,
So go
so
ahead.
I know that PharmD program should be done in person for Temple, right? But the prerequisite courses that I should take, could it be done online? And also, is there any other way, like other than Temple University, that I can do the PharmD online, or it's only in person?
So in terms of and that's a great question because that also may be a question for some of our other prospective students and applicants. So the prerequisites, as long as you're taking them at an accredited college or university, some students will utilize their local community college. We just ask that you share with us the courses that you plan to take and making sure that you're taking it at an accredited college or university, specifically accredited by Middle States. And that ensures that the quality, as well as the accreditation of said courses you're taking, are in line and can be accepted by the School of Pharmacy. In terms of matriculating through the Doctor of Pharmacy program, that is in person. And as of right now, there is not an opportunity for you to complete the degree online, maybe in the future or maybe in some capacity. But as of right now, the didactic coursework is face to face and it is in person. But again, going back to extending your network while you're matriculating, that's a part of building the network while you're a student, while you're interfacing with your professors, while you're interfacing with your future colleagues, because you want to show up and show this is kind of that on the job training that's happening from start to finish. And that also helps you to be successful in terms of obtaining and retaining a position, whether it's immediately going into the workforce or possibly looking into a fellowship or residency opportunity. So although it may not be as accessible, and fit the work from, home type virtual land, there are great opportunities that come from being in an in-person program. So that's the dissertation to we're in person. Michael, do you still want to ask your question? You can come off mute if you can.
I'm not sure. Maybe I missed it because I was trying to jot some notes down real quick. But I was gonna ask, how does a PharmD MBA set you apart from other people in the eyes of employers outside of like the label MBA itself?
Yeah.
I can jump in. I'm sure Kim, I saw her unmute at the same time.
You can
Um,
go first.
what a lot of our students that have completed the PharmD MBA, their focus has been going into industry, for the most part. So going into industry and then working in whatever area that you end up, kind of doing some of your electives and things in. Kim, I'm sure is aware, we had students, was about a year ago that did they did their capstone project and they did it for a pharmaceutical company that was in Australia. And they flew a few of our students down there because they did such an amazing job and they wanted to hear more. So whether you're in the marketing side or you might be in, just the management side, whatever it might be, that's how you'd be much more um, attractive. The other part of it is too, is there's a lot of people that have a PharmD, go into industry, and then go back and say, oh, I want to get my MBA. This just gives you a shot to do it at the same time, and you save about $10,000 in the process. So, that's what it looks like. Kim, I don't want to steal your thunder.
No, that's okay. You actually, well, ditto. Definitely, a lot of our students that we see are going into industry. That's what we're hearing as we work with our students. The specific project that was referred to was actually part of our capstone course. So the capstone course is the last class that students in our MBA program take. It's the last core course. It is only 3 credits. I say only 3 credits because a lot of our students have told us that it's like having a second full-time job, but at the end of the course, as stressed as they may have been, they also say it's rewarding. And that's a direct quote from one of our students. So it's very intense for 3 credits, but you do get to work with different industries. You can present a project or a company or an idea. If some of our individual students are working on a particular project or working with a particular client, or have a residency experience that they'd like to expand upon, you can always talk with the faculty members before the class even begins to see how that can be incorporated. You're building your network, so that also helps. And as I mentioned, our Center for Student and Professional Development, they'll help with the resume review and salary negotiations, but they can also put you in contact with additional alums and people in industry that you can network with, and you're also building those relationships with the other students in your MBA courses as well. So it's like double the network, and just double the resources. I don't know of anyone else in our students. I'm trying to think of some of our most recent students or most recent graduates that have done anything other than, or their interest for anything other than going to industry. So I would say from our end, that's the big piece, the big takeaway.
Okay, thank you.
And Kim, is still on you. I just had a quick question come in the chat
Sure.
regarding there's a student that is completing their bachelor's degree, their bachelor's of science in business administration, and will be looking to matriculate into the PharmD program and then apply for the MBA. Is completing their bachelor's degree in science helpful? Does it help in any way to complete the MBA any earlier?
Um, I do have just a clarifying question. Is this in regards to perhaps transferring in or waiving of courses? And if that's the case, unfortunately, no. We only transfer in or accept the maximum of 9 credits, which is the agreement between the 2 schools currently. So if any student in any of our professional programs has a statistics course, I always pick on statistics courses or any other quantitative courses that they may have taken with a previous degree, unfortunately, it does not allow for us to waive in or transfer in any other credits other than the 9 that we accept in this case from the PharmD school.
All right. I think that probably was where the student was leaning in trying to see if there was any courses that were applicable. Thank you so much.
No
AJ,
problem.
you had your hand up.
Yeah, I would just say something similar to Michael's question in terms of like an MPH and how like an MPH dual degree would also set you apart from like other students and other applicants and like job applications in certain aspects. Like I know the dual degree is impressive, but like in terms of like if I said like social behavior of sciences, like how does that like what routes could I take based on like on top of like my PharmD program adding like a social behaviors in science?
Well, I don't know that I want to say specifically. Might sound as a cop out, but I tell students all the time that if you leave it up to me to decide what your future is going to be, then you're going to be very specifically designed for what I like, right? Um, I, I I'll tell you this. I'll use 2 examples. The last 2 dual degree students we've had in our program the professional school dual degree. One of them is a senator, and the other one got a job offer the first year in the MPH program. It's a 2-year program because they stood out. And I want to say this for all the dual degree people here. I'm not speaking for them, but I want to say this. The fact of the matter is that there are a lot of people graduating with name the degree, whatever that degree is, in um, at the end of every year. You need to stand out from everyone else. And if you stand out from everyone else, I'm not going to say how to stand out, but if you stand out from everyone else, you'll be recognized by the people who are looking to hire. And that may be a dual degree, that may be that something you did in your capstone project or whatever it is, but you need to stand out. This is a built-in mechanism to help you stand out. But I will say, don't pursue any dual degree just because you want to stand out. What I tell all of the people applying to our program, don't apply unless you intend to do something with your degree. We want you to go out into the world and make the world better. If that's what you want to do, welcome aboard.
Thank you, Sharif. I think that, and then also to kind of piggyback off of that, we have an alum who completed her PharmD degree 10 years ago. And she recognized 10 years later that having her master's in public health helped her to be a better pharmacist. And so to Sharif's point, you're doing it because you want to further benefit those that you're supporting. And if this degree path furthers your skill set and expertise to be better at what you're doing, then do it. But not just do it because, oh, look it, I got another degree. And you're not going to be as committed when it gets crazy because it's going to get crazy. So you have to do it and do it with a reason and a passion behind it, so that you're leaving with the knowledge and the expertise, not just 2 degrees because it looks and sounds good, but it lends to your career paths, aspirations, and passions to be a pharmacist working in said area. All right. It is 8:01. This was amazing. On the third Thursday of December, before break. So I really, I'm super appreciative of my colleagues from across the university for being here. Thank you so very much. I truly appreciate you all. Tonight was super informative. Thank you to our participants, future applicants, current applicants. Good luck, good skill to you all as you finish the final days of your semester. And if you do have any more questions, you have my email address. If our partners can put their email addresses in the chat, that would be great. And other than that, thank you so very much, everyone. Happy holidays. Enjoy your well-deserved break. Stay warm. And I hope you all come back refreshed in 2026, ready to hit the ground running for whatever is next in your journey. So thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
I'll hang back just in case there are any last minute folks that had any last minute questions. But other than that, I think all hearts and minds are cleared.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for
Thank you,
having
you guys. You
Good
guys have a
night.
great one. Be well, stay
Yep.
warm.
You too. Have a nice holiday and break. Enjoy.
Thank you, you too. Take care,
Bye.
guys.